your camera.
How am I looking?
Stop frowning, you'll be fine.
Is it live? Is it live?
I'm not sure.
Hello, am I live? Let us know. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Papa, can you hear me? Yes, I think I'm live. I think I am. Do they think I am? Yes, I'm live. I am live. Hello! Hooray! Oh my goodness. How is that screen-wise? Can you see me? Can you hear me?
I've just moved it, but yes, okay, that's fine.
Okay, so basically we were in my studio, my new studio, and we thought that there was a problem with the Wi-Fi up there, so we dashed down the garden to start live streaming from here, but I think the problem was actually with my laptop, but we're not going back up there now. We're going to stream from here, and that's just fine. And it doesn't matter that I've just been really stressed for 5 minutes, because this is going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So how is everybody? I hope you're all notes up. Yeah, that's what I'm doing today. Here I am. I'm alive. I'm awake. We are live. Hurrah. Can you tell I'm a little bit flustered? So what am I thinking? I am thinking that I want to let you know that this is actually going to be the penultimate weekly live stream. People are going back to work. You know, it's quite a lot to try and keep up with a weekly live stream, as well as a weekly upload, as well as the Purple People stuff. So I'm going to take my live streams back down to once a month, which is what I was doing pre-lockdown. But there will be another Wednesday afternoon live next Wednesday, and it's going to be something very exciting. And I'm going to tell you how exciting it is and what it's going to be at the end of this stream, so that you can all get excited and look forward to that. So that's where I'm at with the live streams. I hope you guys all understand, but I need a rest. I do. So yeah, so this week we are doing 2 truths and a lie, which is a game that I'm sure you're all familiar with. But if you are not, basically I am going to tell you 3 things about me, 2 of which will be true and 1 of which will be a lie. And then I'm going to give you guys some time to guess which one the lie is. And Mr. Purple will keep an eye on who is thinking what and what the general consensus is. And then I will tell you what the truth is. I actually have quite a good, I've got something in my eye now. It's all going wrong today. I actually have quite a good backstory, if you like, if you think of me as a superhero, which, you know, I like to think that. So a lot of my stories are quite good. So I might also then explain some of the stories from the truths that I'm telling you. I also have got some isolation creations, a book, a movie, and a TV show to share with you. And I'll let you know what's going to be happening next week and what's going to be happening with this week's Friday video as well, which is also going to be super exciting. And now my nose is running, and blimey, my water bottle's over there. If only I had a small child that could go and fetch it for me and put it into my hand. I'm going to put my hand there optimistically and hope my water bottle appears, because as you may have noticed, if you are in the UK, it is really, really hot.
Magic.
It's magic. The power of children. I knew I had them for a reason. Yes, it is really, really hot, and we are sat here with the doors open, so if anything happens outside, you're going to hear about it. Yeah, it's hot. Let's all just take a big breath in, now that I've run down the garden and been late. Let's just take a big breath in before I move on. Hand in and out. Okay, right. So I'm going to start with 2 truths and a lie, and then I will move on to whatever Mr. Purple wants to tell me. So my first one is, I once stole a car to escape a difficult working situation. I once sat on a bus for 20 minutes in just my bra. I once ran a marathon. Which one of those do you think is the lie? And while you're answering that, I will see what Mr. Purple wanted to tell me.
So Liz Jenkins was saying, do you remember last week she was going for a diagnosis?
Yes.
She didn't get it, so she's only feeling so-so, and is considering getting a second opinion.
Oh, that's rubbish. Yes, Liz, do go for a second opinion. I mean, I think that the rates of diagnosis and who will get a diagnosis are really variable across the country. And if you think that you are autistic and you feel like really sure about that, I would encourage seeking a second opinion. You are actually also entitled to a second opinion if you're in the UK on the NHS. So definitely go ahead and look into that. Sorry to hear that. Okay. And the place that I would recommend, I'm going to actually also, you didn't ask me this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I would recommend, if it's at all possible, and they will take NHS referrals, trying to get that second opinion at the Lorna Wing Centre, which is in Essex, where they specialise in diagnosing women and girls. And I think you'd hopefully have a more accurate, thorough, reasonable assessment there. So what's the general consensus?
Can you run through them again in the right order, in the same order?
Okay, so I've got, I once stole a car to escape a difficult working situation. I once sat on a bus for 20 minutes in just my bra, and I once ran a marathon. What do you think is the lie?
So you got 3 for marathon, 3 for bus, and 2 for car.
I wish that they were all lies, to be honest. So the lie is, as some of you may have picked up on, because I'm obviously never going to be running a marathon anytime soon, I have never run a marathon, but I would like to. And I feel I need to explain the car one because it sounds bad. I don't want you to think that I'm a car thief. I'm not a car thief generally. However, I was working somewhere and kind of stranded. It was like a job and an accommodation situation in a place in the world where I couldn't very easily get to a bus station or leave. And I had overheard the boss discussing the fact that she was going to sack me and my friend that I was there working with, which would have left us homeless with no money to get to the bus station. So we decided to borrow her car to drive about 6 hours away to where the nearest bus station was. And we were nice. We took some people with us who were going to be returning. So we planned on returning the car. But when the people that were taking us found out that we hadn't exactly been given permission to take this car, they got quite stressed about it and were quite cross with us and basically dumped us at this bus station, kind of kicked us out of the car at this bus station and said, you go this way, we go this way, and we never speak of this again. I don't know why I'm suddenly Russian when in this. Nobody was Russian in this scenario.
Yeah, they were Croatian, though.
They were Croatian, something like that. Anyway, that's what happened. So yes, I did in fact steal a car, and the bus situation is quite a funny story actually. I got on a bus, I think I was about 17 or 18. I was on my way to the college where I did my A-levels. There's something jingling. Is the jingling noise bothering you? Because if it is, I can probably make it stop. It's a wind chime. Yeah, I got on a bus and I'd got on a vest top and then a long sleeve top over the top, and I sat down on the bus and it was really hot, much like it is today. So I took my long sleeve top off and I carried on sitting on the bus. I'd probably got some headphones on because I'm normally listening to music if I'm on my own out in the world. And about 20 minutes later, I noticed some people behind me were kind of giggling a little bit, and I had not looked at myself. So I looked down at myself and I realised that when I'd taken my long sleeve top off, I had also inadvertently removed my vest top and had in fact for about 20 minutes been sat on the bus in my bra. People had been getting on and off the bus. Nobody had thought to say anything to me. So I pressed the button to make the bus stop and got off the bus at the next immediately available opportunity, which was not somewhere that I recognised, didn't know where I was, had to get another bus. It was a whole thing, but I do now have that story, so perhaps it was worth it. So yes, well done if you got that right. Can you really imagine me running a marathon when you know that I can't really walk for more than about 20-25 minutes?
The circus background, though.
But I might have done when I was younger. I would like to have done a marathon, but no, I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, I'll do another one and then I'll get into the usual live stream stuff. Is this all going okay? I'm aware I'm probably talking a little bit fast because I'm a little bit thrown by the technical difficulties. Us autistic people are not so brilliant with changes of plan, and we were in one place and now we're in another place, and my brain has not quite processed and caught up with that fact. Okay, so number 2. I once performed a shadow dance, you know, like behind a screen, as a James Bond girl. I once worked as a showgirl in a sparkly bikini with a large feather fan. I once appeared in EastEnders. Right, while you have a think about that, are there any questions, Mr. Purple, or things that I should hear about?
Sharing. Well, Catherine said she once walked down the street and had loads of cars beeping at her. Eventually realised the wind had somehow blown her shirt open.
Oh dear, a bit of a Marilyn Monroe moment, I guess, but upstairs rather than downstairs. Right, while we're waiting for that, should I do Lego? Let's do Lego whilst you think about which one of those may or may not be true.
The 3 was EastEnders.
Okay, so Lego of the week is my Batman and Robin Lego BrickHeads. I think these were the first ones I got. Certainly Batman was the first one that I got of the BrickHead series. I do love them. I think I've got about 10. And I think they are very cute. Can you see them well? Is the lighting okay? Hey, who's that from?
Beth.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you very much. Oh, I'm dropping Lego. It's all a fluster. Oh, dear. Right. Yes. So Batman and Robin. Right. What is the general consensus on which one of those is a lie?
EastEnders.
Yeah, got it. I really hope they might think I might actually have been on EastEnders. You might have remembered that, though, right? Okay. I think before we move on, let's get into isolation creations. So the problem is that I'm using my phone, I'm using my iPad. I'm going to stop using my iPad for what I'm using it for now, so I can show you the isolation creations more in the size that they should be to be fully appreciated. Okay, so I have got from Kaylee Butler, who I think it was Kaylee who had crocheted in a previous stream. I showed you her crocheted Animal Crossing's Isabel. I'm pretty sure that was Kaylee. She has crocheted some. Mr. Purple's gonna have to tell me whether you can see this properly. Is that okay?
Yep.
She has crocheted some dinosaurs, a dinosaur family, if you will, in a variety of colours, and I think that they are absolutely adorable. So thank you, Kaylee. And Simon, who has been here every week, has sent in 2, and I wanted to show you them both because they're both great. So he has used his Coco sticker that he received because he is a purple person as his joining gift, if you will. And don't forget to look about joining the purple people, because it would be great if people would support me in the work that I'm doing here. Just saying. Okay, so Simon has created this magnificent collage with Coco, and I love it.
Tip it up slightly or down. That's it.
How's that? I absolutely love this. I particularly love the bird that's sitting on Coco's head, and I think the little dude, the little boy, is the boy from the Disney film Up. And basically it's Coco and her pals. And I think you'd all agree that Coco is that popular and would be that loved by her animal friends. So thank you for that, Simon. And if you would like a Coco sticker, join the Purple People or email me, ella@purpleella.com, for more details. Look at me, sales girl.
Coco's Crew.
Coco's Crew. Yeah, that's right. That's what he called it, Coco's Crew. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that fact. And then I actually asked Simon to share this with me because I saw it on his Instagram story at the weekend. He has done this painting. I'm going to assume it's an oil painting, Simon. And I think it's really impressive. As someone who does a little bit of art and knows how hard these things are, how's that, Mr. Purple?
There you go.
He has created this landscape, and I think it's really impressive. I only wish that I had the talent to paint something like this. It's brilliant, Simon. Thank you. Keep up the good work with that. And then
Scottish Highlands.
Catherine has made some. She would set herself the challenge of making some ocean-inspired soap, and she made these beautiful soap creations. Now, I'd quite like to have a go at making soap. It looks like fun, and we have actually run out of soap, so maybe that's a thing I'll do at some point. I've got 2 more. This one is from, it's Ella has to pronounce a name she doesn't know how to pronounce again. I'm going to say it's Eldh. How would you say that? Eyelid?
I think it's Irish.
Irish.
I'm guessing.
Irish player. Sorry about that. If that is you, I am terrible.
No, I'm not saying that's how you'd say it.
Oh, it's an Irish name.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I was like, how does that say Irish? Yes, it's probably an Irish name. Elid. Elid. It's a lovely name. She has, much like me, been
Ailey, apparently Ailey.
Ailey.
Yeah.
She probably told me that last time, and I probably forgot because my working memory is very poor. Much like me, she has been being inspired by Animal Crossing for her art creations. If you follow me on Instagram, Purple Ella and Coco, I've also been drawing quite a lot of characters from Animal Crossings recently, and she drew this little gang. It's Isabel, Tom Nook. I can't remember what the owl's called. Help me out. Blathers, the owl. And this little dude sells plants and buys weeds from you, but I don't know what his name is. I think that's lovely. And then I've got one more, which is actually on my phone because I forgot to upload it to my photograph album. So you're just going to have to deal with that. Now, I'm going to tell you what it is first because both things are on my phone. And this is from Dom. It's a Space Marine intercessor from the World of Warcraft that he has painted over the weekend while he's been crafting. Can you guys see that? How's that?
Hold it still. No, there, yes.
There. So these are the little World of Warcraft. Some of you guys might be into that. Little figures and things that you have to paint and do crafting with before you can play the game, which I love. And I know he's had a lot of fun over the last week spending time doing those whilst he's had a little bit of time off work. So thank you loads for sending in your isolation creations. I really enjoy seeing those. It's one of the things I'm really going to miss. I'm so hot. I'm sticking to the chair. It's one of the things that I'm really going to miss whilst now that once I stop doing the weekly live streams. But I will probably keep up with some kind of isolation creation scenario. Put myself up to speed. Some kind of isolation creation scenario once I go to my monthly lives. Oh, it's all happening here. Oh dear. I need some boob hands to help me out. Don't have enough hands. If only there were a way to have more than one set of hands. Anyone got any ideas? Right. Shall we do another 2 truths and a lie? Okay. Oh, where are they? Oh, yeah. Okay, this is a geography 2 truths and a lie. I have worked in Maryland, America. I have worked in El Papiol in Spain. I have worked in Turin, Italy. What do you reckon? I feel like I want to do the countdown music. Would you guys enjoy that? I feel like you would. Boom! That wasn't really long enough, was it? Maybe I need to do some kind of longer. No, I'm just now I'm being really extra special, aren't I? Oh, I'm so hot. Is anyone else melting and having some significant sensory processing issues as a result of the hotness of today? Whew. So, how are we getting on with that? What do you reckon? I have worked in Maryland, America. I have worked in El Papiol in Spain. I have worked in Turin in Italy. What do you think? What do they think?
Just wait for the last few to come in.
Okay. I definitely need some kind of dance for in between these ones because you guys aren't asking me questions, so I can't fill the space that way. And I don't want to use up all of my extra stuff, although I suppose I could.
Okay.
I know what I could do. In between the next one, I've got a plan. So you won't just have to sit here listening to me trying to badly recreate the countdown music, which is probably especially confusing if you're not in the UK and you don't actually know what countdown is. It is, if you are wondering, a quiz show in the UK to do with maths and English, and it has a very distinctive noise soundtrack that they make before the answer is given. And if you're in the UK, it's a very familiar thing. So what do we reckon?
Okay, so by a whisker, they think it was Turin.
by a whisker. So what was the next one?
Second one was Maryland.
By 1 point, it was Turin. You guys are really good at this. It's almost as if you know me. Yes, you are correct. I have never worked in Turin, Italy. So let me fill you in. In Maryland, in America, I worked in a hot dog stand and a head shop, the kind of shop that sells T-shirts, band T-shirts and paraphernalia, like pipes and bongs and stuff like that. Oh, did I just demonetize myself with one sentence? Eek. Shh, I didn't say that. And in El Papiol in Spain, I participated in a group performance, circus performance, with a group of people that I was training circus with, including Mr. Purple, in Spain, in exchange for our dinner, which is still work in exchange for goods, which still classes as working there. And I have actually been to Turin in Italy. I went to Turin when I was 16 on a contemporary dance exchange and spent a week training with a dance company in Turin, but I did not work there. Okay, and let's do another one. This is a nice one.
Can you say that name?
Malia. Malia? Malia? Mr. Purple's showing me a name and asking if I can say it. I'm sure this makes for great entertainment for you guys. Is everyone having fun, or am I just a bit too scattered today? You were going to get to see my lovely new backdrop as well, but you'll be able to see it on Friday, so that's fine. Okay, so the next one is, I once released baby turtles into the sea. I once rode a horse through the jungle where they filmed Jurassic Park. I once did a bungee jump. And whilst you put your answers in for that one, I am going to tell you about this awesome book that I'm reading, which is my book of the week. So my book of the week is a book that Roz had read and sent to me because she thought that I would really enjoy it, and she was completely right. It is Brené Brown, Braving the Wilderness, The Quest for True Belonging and the Courage to Stand Alone, which sounds a little bit overly, I'm not generally a huge fan of the self-help book or the self-help genre because I feel like it can be overwhelming to get so much information and to feel like you've got to change the way you are in order to function better as a human, and I'm not really about that. But this is actually not a self-help book. It is a book about Brené, who is an academic and also a public inspirational speaker, I guess. And she talks about being true to yourself by being honest and true in your opinions and your inquisitiveness, rather than being someone who picks a side. So essentially, I feel like we live in a time at the moment in social media where you're either with us or without us on whatever topic we're talking about, whether it's something obvious where, you know, it's obvious that Black Lives Matter. It's obvious that that is the case, and I'm not going to say all lives matter because it's obvious that that's not true. But nonetheless, in terms of picking sides on those topics, if you are not on the side that people think is the right side, then you are likely to get yelled at or receive abusive comments. You are not likely to be received with an open dialogue between the two of you, in which you don't necessarily come to an agreement, but understand each other's perspectives, I guess, and are true to yourself. And this is the case with many things. For example, the language around autism and disability, in that a lot of autistic people like to be described as autism, not as having autism. But unfortunately, a lot of good people who want to enter our community and want to support us and want to be educated get shouted down or receive abusive behaviour simply by choosing to use the wrong language, because they are then not considered with us. So we have to either, the word that she uses is bullshit, so I'm going to use it. We either have to bullshit our way through that we know everything about something and we are definitely on your side, or we don't belong. And what Brené talks about is how we should be authentic and true to ourselves and what we feel is right and what information we have, and not try to bluff our way through things. If we don't actually know about something, rather than kind of bluffing our way and trying to join a side, we should be asking questions and be inquisitive. And And she also talks about how you could be really close with someone who holds quite conflicting views and opinions to you. Because, for example, the example she uses is if you are someone who's quite left-wing, like myself, but you might have a neighbour who on paper looks like someone that you couldn't have a relationship with. They're right-wing, they maybe hold some prejudices, they maybe hold some opinions that are really conflicting with your own ethics. However, one day you fall over in the street and they are there and they drive you to the hospital and they drive you home and they make sure that you are cared for and that your family are cared for while you recover. So this relationship isn't entirely one thing or another, and it is possible for us to coexist in a world that is not so fractured and like you're in this gang or you're in this gang or you fit here or you fit there, and that basically the quest for true belonging is to belong to yourself. So that's my rant about that book over, but it's awesome and I'd really recommend it. It's really helping me process some of the thoughts that I've been having anyway, I think. So that is my book of the week. Right, I'm getting off my soapbox and I'm back. What do people think?
Okay, first of all, the name was this.
Millie.
This one that you tried to say before.
Millie Ha. Like it?
And unanimously the bungee jump.
The bungee jump, you can't see me doing a bungee jump. You're absolutely right. You guys are really good at this. I should be handing out prizes. Have a sweet. Yes, no, I have never, nor would I ever, nor do I have any desire to
Too much detail
do a bungee jump. What's that, sorry?
Sorry, Mum.
No bungee jumps for me. But I did, in fact, release baby turtles into the sea in Mexico, and I rode a horse through the jungle where they filmed Jurassic Park in the Dominican Republic. Yes, like it. Right, I'm on to my last one that I have written down, but I could probably come up with more in my head. But if you have got questions and stuff, after I've done this one would be a good time to do that. Okay. I can play the violin. I can play the piano. I sing in a worship band. Right, while you are mulling that over, I am going to do my TV show of the week, which is Space Force on Netflix. Mr. Purple and I have really enjoyed this little gem, Space Force. We found it and watched it in its entirety within about 4 days. It's Steve Carell and John Malkovich. I can't think who any of the other actors are, if they're kind of known actors, but they're the main characters anyway. And it's so silly. It's got that kind of, I'd say it's got that kind of Steve Martin kind of feel about it, in terms of just being ridiculous and completely unbelievable, but absolutely hilarious. And if you just need something to make you laugh and smile, it is for you. It is lovely. I really enjoyed it. Oh, thanks, Beth. Have you actually given me turtles? I have to look down to see myself because I don't have a phone in front of me.
I love sea turtles.
Sea turtles. Oh, I didn't know there was a little turtle emoji. Cute. Thank you, Beth. Yeah. So that is my TV show of the week. And my film of the week is another lovely Studio Ghibli film. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep hitting you with Studio Ghibli films because they're so underrated, in my opinion. It's Kiki's Delivery Service, which is about a young witch. And the deal with witches in this particular fantasy universe is that they go to train away from their hometown. And she ends up setting up a broomstick delivery service for a baker's shop where she ends up, in the town that she ends up. And it's just a joyous, lovely little story. It's not very long. It's only about an hour and a half at the most. Beautiful animation. It's got that Studio Ghibli, I feel like I've had a massage after you've watched it, and I would definitely recommend that one for you guys. So do we have a general consensus on there?
It's a split between piano and choir.
Piano and choir.
Oh, hold on, I've just had one more in for piano, so it's piano.
God, are they going? They've got 100%.
There was quite close between that and the choir.
I am impressed, guys. You're right. I can't play the piano. I did have piano lessons as a child, but I would not claim to be able to play the piano. I do play the violin, and I do sing in a worship band, which I love. I am, in fact, going to be doing some socially distanced worship band singing. My entire worship band is going to come to my garden in a couple of hours, and I am really, really looking forward to that.
So, any tips for coping with the heat?
Tips for coping with the heat. Oh gosh, don't do a live stream and run up and down your garden. I've got a dress on, which I'm kind of hoping I'm not Marilyn Monroeing you in, because I am having to fan myself. Don't do that. Is it not good?
No.
Okay. Does it look like, oh dear, look, hands.
Amy asks, what's the sticker on your phone?
Let me finish with the heat. The heat. Okay. Cold water in a bottle that keeps the water absolutely cold, both for putting on your forehead. No, that doesn't work. Is it keeping it cold so it's thermal?
Yes.
For drinking. Something cool, an ice pack that you can use on your forehead, and fans, and stay in the cool, and complain a lot. Those are my tips for coping with the heat. The sticker on my phone is a little, I think it's like a Minecraft or a Roblox heart, and it came with, I just ordered for my Nintendo Switch, you know, it has joysticks. I ordered little covers for the joysticks that have the Animal Crossing logos on them because it brings me joy. Unnecessary purchase from Etsy that has already brought me a lot of joy. And when they arrived with this really cute sticker in there as well. So I was really pleased with that, and I put it on my phone. Happy, happy days. Oof.
Okay, what about tips for meditation?
Meditation.
This is from Catherine.
Yes, I mean, I used the Headspace app when I first started meditating, and I guess mindfulness and meditation being used in sort of interchangeably there. Because the Headspace app, because other meditation apps that I had previously used didn't work for me, because I think the word is aphantasia. Correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody have a quick Google, because I might be declaring I have something that isn't something I want to be declaring that I've got, if you know what I'm saying. But I think I have this thing called aphantasia, where basically I cannot form pictures in my head at all. So if you said to me, close your eyes and imagine something that's really familiar with me, like my dog, I get nothing ever. So I used to spend time in yoga classes trying to picture a beach with my eyes shut at the end, feeling like I was completely failing at life. I'm also really bad at directions because I can't picture where I'm going to go until I get there, which makes navigating the world quite challenging. So your average meditation app seems, in my experience, to rely a lot upon the picturing of things in your mind, whether that's a relaxing place or whether that's something, a balloon going in or out, or there's a variety of things that they seem to want you to picture in your mind on your average meditation app. And they're also quite long, which is quite daunting for me because I'm not very good at sitting still because I'm a bit fidgety. So Headspace is really good because it is only 10 minutes long when you start out. They do get slightly longer, but by then you've kind of believed that it's good and you're happy to do it. They're really clear, and at the beginning of some of them, they give you a little animated video which kind of describes what it is that you're trying to achieve with the session, which I found really useful for me to understand the logic behind what I was doing. So when I first started meditating, I used the Headspace app every single morning and just did my 10 minutes. And after about 6 months, I started to see massive improvement in my experience of meditation. And by a year in, I was able to recreate that experience whilst doing my yoga, which is time saving. So now I don't do specific meditation. I do yoga, which is also like meditative if I'm not being interrupted a million times by the other people that live in this house, but if I can, and that's really helpful. So does anyone know, is aphantasia the right word?
Yes, it is, yes.
It is,
like
it is.
Inner eye.
Yes, I'm actually planning on making a whole video about aphantasia at some point soon. So yeah, it's something that I didn't even know was a thing, but I did used to think, why does everybody always say shut your eyes and imagine this? Like why bother? No one can see anything, can they? And then I realized that people can, and that I have a thing that's an actual thing with a name, and I do love that. When you realise you have a thing that other people have that has a name.
Can I have a look at the sticker on your phone?
The sticker on my phone?
Oh, I think it's a bisexual flag.
It's a bisexual flag, is that what it is?
That's what I've been told.
Oh, well that's absolutely fine. That's fine with me, just saying. Okay, do we have any other questions?
Not at the moment.
No, so yeah, shall I talk about next week's video? Next week's live stream. What time is it?
Would you do any videos with I don't understand the question. Sorry, carry on. Yes.
Would you do any videos with ASD and ADHD as dual diagnosis in mind? My autistic daughter has just been diagnosed with ADHD, and I'm on the waiting list for ADHD as well. Yes, Beth, actually, as it happens, I will be making a video within the next month or so called Do I Have ADHD? Because I am considering the possibility that I might have ADHD. And I am on the waiting list to see the adult ADHD team, and I do feel that I have traits of ADHD. I don't know whether you guys would agree with that from kind of watching my videos or whatever. And I do feel like ADHD and autism are very commonly comorbid, but actually, one of the thoughts that I had when I was thinking about the ADHD autism thing, because I always, when I've decided I'm going to make a video about something, I usually decide about 5 weeks before I make it, and then I just let my mind kind of stew on that topic before I sit down and start planning and make that video. And as I think about that, we have people in this house with diagnoses of ADHD, autism, dyslexia, dyspraxia, and what's the other one? Yeah, maybe that's it. Is that enough? What do you think? Anyway, a bunch of different neurodiversities between the family purple. And I was talking to Roz about this yesterday because she came to visit me and we did some art. And she was saying that it might be more helpful if we could start to think of neurodiversity with the following traits, because lots of people have all these different labels which do describe differing aspects of neurodiversity, but the services just don't have very much crossover. So you have ADHD services and you have autism services, and then you have the dyslexia centre, and there's no crossover between them. And of course, Tourette's also fits under that umbrella. And actually, is it possible that we all have a personal picture of neurodiversity that incorporates not necessarily traits from one particular diagnosis? And so in my case, that would be aspects of dyspraxia, autism, and ADHD, for example. And that might make more joined up care easier. And also long term, if I do find out that I've got ADHD, obviously I will make more videos about that particular aspect and the ways in which that impacts on me.
How was the sushi?
How was the sushi? The sushi, it was lovely, wasn't it, guys? Yeah, thumbs up from the kids. It was really nice. It was really nice and perfectly tightly rolled enough, and we all really enjoyed it. And I don't feel like I was necessarily all that entertaining whilst making sushi, because it's actually really hard to both make sushi and be entertaining at the same time. But I appreciate you guys all being there, and yeah, I'm sorry if the sushi making was not as entertaining as maybe it might have been, but it was delicious.
Okay, that's why I couldn't do that. Okay, right. Okay, so Evil Smurf has a referral waiting, but work want to increase their workload, which is creating huge problems. So without the official diagnosis, do they disclose them? Do they disclose that they're going for an autism referral? I
mean, like obviously that's a really Evil Smurf. First up, kudos for the name. Good name, like that. That's a really tricky one, but I do know someone. I have actually got a friend who was in this very situation up until quite recently, and she absolutely did disclose that she was awaiting an autism assessment and asked for accommodations as such. It's a really personal choice, obviously, as to whether you disclose, but it would be reasonable to mention that you are going for this assessment. These are the difficulties that I have. These are the needs that I have. Do we actually have to wait to reach that point of diagnosis, or could we actually support me now? Because the needs that I have won't change when someone gives me the official stamp of approval. And if you want to know more about this particular topic, Simon, who is one of the purple people asked about a week ago whether I would ever do a video with purple person, but I actually have. Simon, who is one of the purple people, and I made a video several years ago about work accommodations when you are autistic. And so it might be really useful for you to go back and have a look at that as well, in terms of that kind of information, because I've never worked in a formal working situation as such, like an office or whatever, whereas Simon has, and so was much better qualified to talk about this particular area.
Scared Meow got a diagnosis 2 weeks ago and is 37.
Yay, congratulations, Scared Meow, and good name as well. I like that. Love the cat-related names. Yeah, so that's in there somewhere. Work-related stuff. Yeah, have we got any more?
Anything else?
Let me see.
Not really.
I'm just reading the chat. I never get to read the chat. Yeah, so one of the things, there were a couple of other things I wanted to talk about. One of which is how we're all feeling about lockdown. Feels like it's ending. It feels like it's ending in that basically from the 4th of July in the UK, everything is going to be open apart from some very limited things like nightclubs, tattoo parlors, and indoor playgrounds and swimming pools possibly. But like all the shops will be open, all the restaurants will be open, museums, art galleries, zoos, cinemas, everything's opening, and we will be allowed to meet one other household inside the house at a time, inside the house, or at a cafe or a restaurant or whatever. So it feels like I guess we're still technically under lockdown rules, but it feels like some big changes which are really opening up the world. And I know that for me as an autistic person, I find it very anxiety provoking when the rules change, and I'm not entirely convinced that I'm going to dive straight into these lockdown releases. So we had a discussion, the Purple family and I am in the Purple family. We all sat down and had a discussion actually at lunchtime today about what we were going to do with this news and this announcement, and decided that what we would actually prefer to do is give it a couple of weeks from when that happens to actually change anything that we're doing here. So we won't be embarking on any of the new freedoms until about the 17th of July, which is 2 weeks after the world will have opened up. And then we would quite like to go to both the cinema and the zoo, because we would like to support zoos, because we're aware that zoos have big outgoings and have not had any incomings, and because we love the cinema and we always have. So in the meantime, we will definitely also not be having people come into the house, and we'll continue meeting them outside, which we started doing roughly 2 weeks after that was allowed. So I guess we're kind of ticking along about 2 weeks behind the actual rules. In order to feel safe, in order to feel like we've got some time to see what the impact of the rule changes are before we dive into them, because 2 of us in this house are actually vulnerable to coronavirus, because I have EDS and Robo Boy has EDS and also has asthma. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling about that. Does anybody have any questions around that or any feelings around that they would like to share with me?
No, sort of just agreeing with you, being careful.
Yeah, it is quite overwhelming, I think. Especially, I think, and I'm going to be controversial here, but especially given that we are relying on a floppy-haired, Eton-attending, money-motivated politician to make these decisions for us, who doesn't make decisions that I necessarily agree with a large percentage of the time. So it feels like a lot to be putting all of my trust in this person who made these decisions that weren't right at the start. And yeah, it's a lot. Right, so you have officially got the amount of time that it takes for me to tell you about what is coming up over the course of the next week from yours truly, to ask me things if you want to ask me things, and then I'm going to call it a day because it's so hot, very hot. And also I'm going to be recording with my worship band at 6:30, and I need to have a break before then. And for those of you who might like to find my worship band singing, I wasn't officially supposed to put it on Twitter or anything, because someone in the band was a little bit worried about that, but it is on YouTube and it is public. So I think if I tell you what YouTube channel it is on, you could go and have a look. It is on the Bristol Vineyard YouTube channel. So if you're interested, that's where it is, what we've already done and what we will be doing. And I feel like that is okay. So that is what I have done. Okay, so please do like the stream so that YouTube algorithms are satisfied with my performance today. That's if I'm not demonetized for what it is that I said earlier. And right, so exciting things. First up, On Friday, I am releasing another LGBTQ video that is not about any of my children. It is about myself, and it is a coming out of sorts, and it is also another terrifying moment for me, because I have been getting bolder with what I share with you guys, and this feels like a big share. So I'm going to do it as another premiere, because I really appreciated having your support with the video that I made about Superkid being trans. And I feel like having a little group around me when I first put it out there is kind of like a warm cuddle that makes me feel a bit safer. So I will be doing that on Friday at, let's say, what time works for you? Let's say 7 o'clock on Friday evening. I'll put that out as a premiere. So I'll put that up tomorrow so that it shows as a premiere, and you can come and see that if you want to. It also has some animation. I worked on an animation for it, so it's a bit scary in that it's a personal video with a new thing that I've not done before. So I'm really hoping that you guys are going to do that, and it's for Pride Month. Obviously it's Pride Month, so yeah. And then next week, in the final of my lockdown live stream series, and I believe this next week will be my 15th lockdown live stream, which is crazy to think that I've done that many. And thank you for being here, everyone that's been here, but particularly the regulars who've been here and supported me every single week. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure for all of us, I think, really, myself included. I am going to be live streaming with the awesome Roz. Yay! So obviously Roz can't come into my house, but I have found some software that enables me to bring Roz into my live stream through the power of the internet. And our plan is to do an art and questions live stream. So as I've mentioned here before, Roz and I have been doing weekly art sessions together. And those of you who follow me on Instagram will have seen some of those creations. So we decided that you guys might like to join in. So if you come along to that live stream with a pencil and a piece of paper, or if you draw digitally, that's fine too. We will have a prompt, a drawing prompt, and we will all sit and draw together. And I think that will be really fun. If you don't want to draw, that's absolutely fine too, because there will be plenty of chat as well. And at the same time, Roz and I will chat away, as we are prone to do when we're together, and we will answer your questions. And I think that's great, because I know that you guys really like Roz. You've all been asking how she is. She is now here in Bristol, so I have seen her in person a couple of times, and we thought that would be a really fun way to end the lockdown live stream series. So I'm very excited about that, and I'm hoping that you'll all join me for that. Yep, so that's the plan for next week's live stream. So Friday will be my LGBTQ coming out video, and Wednesday will be at 4 o'clock next week will be my lockdown live stream, final lockdown live stream with Roz. Let's celebrate, let's have a party, bring chocolates and cans of lemonade. This is my idea of a party. I'm basically a child. Chocolate, cans of lemonade, and what are those sweets that are like Space Invader sweets with sherbet in the middle?
And cheese on sticks.
Pineapple, and bring pineapple and cheese on sticks. Stick up balloons, and let's have an arty party. Yay. Do you like what I did there? Hurrah! So, yes, bring wine, Beth, by all means. So, yeah, thank you so much for being here this week. I'm sorry it's been a bit of a chaotic one. It's very hot, and I'm not good with change. But I know that you guys can all relate to that. Has anyone said anything finally, or shall we call that a wrap? Mr. Purple. Nobody has liked. Go like the stream. Press the like button.
It's 32. No, 19 likes, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, my thing's just not keeping up. It's not that you're not doing it. It's that my iPad is not keeping up with you doing it.
Oh, an Auty party.
Auty party. Yeah, an Auty party. Oh, thank you, Evil Smurf. Thank you. Oh, it's a little pair. It's a little happy pair. Thanks for that. And also winning at the name. Flying Saucers. Yeah, that's what it's called. Flying Saucers. Whew. So yes, party time next week. Thank you all for being here. I will be going now and eating burgers and singing with my band. Have a fantastic rest of your day, whatever it is that you're doing. See you next week. You have to press the button, Mr. Purple.
Yeah, right, give me a chance.
Okay.